It is now 6 o'clock, but we do not have a quorum, so we will begin the meeting officially as soon as we have a quorum. And now we have a quorum.
And now we have a quorum.
Superman came in. You ride the bike?
You ready? We now have a quorum, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. First thing we need to do is to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Ryan Schravogel and Sean. It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Sean, moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, recognitions.
First thing I'd like to mention tonight is this month, January, is National Board of Education Month. And so I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank the board members from USD 363 and for those board members across the nation, for that matter, for choosing to serve what I consider to be the most important institution in our country to help us so as to prepare the citizenry of the future. And we are blessed in 363 that we really truly have a really good board that cares deeply about what we do. So thank you very much. Really do appreciate it. To commemorate that, you have before you some cookies from Dirty Dough. So hopefully you can enjoy those, you and your family, or just eat them all yourself. Secondly, I do want to take the opportunity, given the weather situation we've faced over the last several days, to thank Garrett and his crew. They have spent many hours thus far in trying to get things as clear as it possibly can be done around here. I want to give Garrett a personal thanks. I got stranded in a four-wheel drive Suburban back behind the high school, and I was not moving. So Garrett showed up ultimately to come get me, and after he drugged me to his truck, I mean me physically, not the Suburban, we got stuck. So we also need to thank the city, because the city came along and pulled us out. So still plenty of work to be done around the district, but he and his crew are on it. So thank you, Garrett.
Thanks, Garrett. All right, let's move to financials. Mike.
Okay. On page 2 of the warrants, Gibson, Mancini, Carmichael, $18,720 for their work on the restroom concession project. And then down below that, it's High Plains Co-op, $102,098.68. And then right underneath that, $139,335. One's our quarterly payment to them, and the other one's the flow through from the state for their funding. And then on page 3, Otis LLC, $9,910 for a new program that they're implementing.
That's a data dashboard that allows our teachers to access all the various academic and social emotional data we have on our kids. So it's one-stop shopping for a teacher. So it makes it easier for the teacher to fit the educational needs of each kid.
So on page 4 of the total warrants this month, $452,347.54. And then on page 6, you'll notice our federal funds are showing negative, which is okay since they're federal funds, but we'll be receiving those funds tomorrow to cover for those expenses.
Bounce checks.
Yeah. And then page 8, our expense summary is where we expect to be at this time with our balances. And then behind that's our transfers. And then I think you have the high school, middle school reports on your desk, because with the storm, they weren't able to give it to me on Friday. So if you have any questions.
If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $452,347.54.
So moved.
Jill and Ryan Schravogel. Moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, no public patron concerns, so administrative reports, Dr. Myers.
All right, start off with, I just want to we're getting ready to go into the hiring season. So I've engaged with a hiring agency based out of Missouri, Fulton, Missouri, by the name of HireFox. And basically they have a pipeline of teachers from the Philippines. And what they particularly provide is all the visa work. And so we've not jumped in off the ship with them completely yet, but we're in dialogue as we get closer down the path of working with them. It'd be interesting to see how it plays. We don't pay them a penny until we hire somebody, and then they help process all the different stuff. They've got over 250 teachers in their database from basically all the different subject areas. All the people who are in their database have taught a minimum of 3 years. Majority of them, 80% of them, have their masters. They're all able to achieve a license in the United States, in the state of Kansas. So it's just a resource, a source. Another practical piece of that, if we end up going down that path, is they help them with the placement as far as the finding a place to live, which is nice. And then they can teach for us for up to 3 years on a given visa. And if we were to extend it, they can go 4 years on a certain type of visa. So the game is beginning with this group, but we've obviously not signed anything formal, but interested in digging into it a little bit further. Second thing to talk to you about, I mentioned this last month, but High Plains Educational Co-op is still pursuing the idea of adjusting the interlocal agreement, basically to say that the High Plains will not provide any supports whatsoever for a third-party virtual school. And that means for one district in our co-op has that kind of arrangement. So that if that takes place, then, and I'm fully in favor of that, then they will no longer provide services to them. As it is currently, if something were to happen with that particular virtual school, it falls back on HPEC, which then means it falls back on us. And in reality, they've had very little to do with that school anyway. So this is a positive step. What has to take place, though, is our lawyer is looking at the language that Shelley Harris has sent out. That's the CEO or whatever role is, her title is at High Plains. Once all 16 districts, co-ops, or all the co-op districts' lawyers approve of this, it'll go to the High Plains Board, who will take action. After they've taken action, it'll come back to us as a formal action. So there's no action yet, but I'm telling you, I think it's coming, and I will advocate that it takes place, that we can do this. Next, I want to talk about the snow event. There will be no school tomorrow, yet. The crew has worked over 20 hours on this. We're about 45% cleared of the huge drifts around the district. Of course, there's ice pack under the snow. Basically, the loop roads, the bus lane, the parking lots, they're coming along. It just takes time. Down some of the city roads, the buses, are just not enough space for the buses to get turned around. And then out in the country is actually not as bad as one might think, but there is work yet to be done. So I want to once again thank Garrett and his crew, and then Sam. Sam is an invaluable advisor to me on these winter weather events, and he speaks his mind, and I appreciate that because it'd be easy for him not to. But we're always looking out for the safety of the kids and whatnot. But you do need to be aware as far as days in school. We have a little over 8 days built into the calendar. By being out tomorrow, that means we will have exhausted 4 of those. And so we have to keep our eye to that. If we go too far, then that means we have to make up the time. That means extending the school year, if that were to occur. Now, there's a piece of the law that allows us to designate 2 days as snow makeup days. And I've always learned this first year of being a superintendent. You choose the first 2 days after spring break, because chances are you're going to be in school. And so those first 2 days after spring break, but just by being here, they count double. So we will have missed 4 days by missing tomorrow. In effect, the net effect will be we will have missed 2. So that's how that plays. Now we're looking forward this week. There's a little bit of snow supposedly forecast for Thursday, but we do not know. It doesn't say how much or anything. I don't think that'll be a bad situation. But come Monday, the high for Monday is 5 degrees with 10 to 20 mile an hour winds. A couple years back, we kind of set the demarcation line at anything at negative 20 or below. We don't have school. It's just not safe. If a bus were to, God forbid, slide off a road or something with 20 degrees below wind chill, that's dangerous. Well, they're looking at 34 degrees below. Now, we won't make a decision on that till Sunday or so, but that's in the offing. And just so you happen to know, this can't plan this any worse or any better, I guess. I will be going to Belize to attend a nephew's destination wedding leaving Thursday. And so and I'll be flying back in on Monday. So we've got it all set up. Tyler is the ranking administrator in district as far as length of time. Tyler Helton, the middle school principal, has the call. He'll work with Sam, he'll work with Garrett, he'll work with Julie. He's got the contact information from the surrounding superintendents, because we all do these things together. So it's all set up to go. So there you have it. Just when you think you got weather figured out in Kansas, just wait. You'll find something else. That's it, Mr. Jones.
All right.
Mr. Jones, Casey's having a hard time hearing everyone except for Dr. Myers.
Okay, sorry, Casey. All right, let's move to buildings and grounds. Garrett,
Nothing further.
need a pillow?
Not yet.
Transportation, Sam.
Nothing other than my report, but I have been contacted today by several people, including Highway Patrol, about our decision-making.
Here.
I was just gonna say, I have been contacted by the Highway Patrol and several patrons about our decision-making process, and they're all thankful that we take the kids' safety into consideration. I know there's minutes in the classroom, there's sports. That never comes into my mind when it comes to telling him what I think. I think, can I transport the kids safely? Sometimes he argues, sometimes, but whatever. But anyway, I've been complimented on that.
All right, thanks, Sam. Do you need a pillow?
No, I'm good.
Don't need stocking caps or anything, gloves, extra?
Yesterday, I got plenty of rest.
Oh, so Monica is not here, and Mr. Ackerman, technology.
Nothing further.
Okay, so we'll move to principals, and we have two, so we'll start with Amy Albright since she is in attendance.
And we like her boots.
Yeah, you do. I have no idea if we've even been in school since our last board meeting. It feels like we haven't, so I'm not sure what we've done. I think we had a music concert in there, and Debbie Tidwell, as always, she did amazing. Our second graders put on a great Christmas performance, and one of the songs, she had little finger lights for them to wear, and we dimmed the lights. And as they sang, they did these finger dances that made it look like Christmas lights, and it was just really cool. She never ceases to amaze me. She never does anything the same in all of her years with music concerts for all the grade levels. Everything has always been different every year, so she does a great job there, and I wanted to just give a huge shout out to her.
Do you have anything for Andy?
No.
Thank you, Amy. All right, we will move to Jerry Johnson.
I do want to mention the Randy Tyne, the Holcomb Elementary principal, is not here because her daughter, I asked her if it was okay to share this with you, had an emergency appendectomy, which took place this morning. So she's with her daughter convalescing, and I told Tyler not to come over from Garden City. So that's why we have the two best principals here, Jerry and Amy.
That's awesome. Kind of the same way as what Amy said is we were in school for roughly a day and a half, and then we've been out Friday, Monday, Tuesday, and now Wednesday. So not a whole lot to share other than I think it was kind of like one thing that we're going to talk to the kids about whenever we get back is we hear so much time in our world about the negativity and that people spread the negativity on social media, and it was so, man, you go around today and you just witness like how thankful we should be that we live in Western Kansas. Like there was people stopping left and right, helping people pull out of ditches, and sons and I, and even my daughter, I got to throw her in there because she actually went with us, but grabbed shovels, and we were helping people shovel off driveways and going over to my parents, and we stopped to help the person come out of a ditch, and there was two people that stopped to hook their trucks up to just pull this car out of the ditch, and they had no idea who it was, and they didn't have any idea who they were either, right? They didn't know each other. It's just, I think sometimes we could slow down, and when we have adversity like we had the last couple of days, man, we live in a great place. We got good people around, and it's sometimes refreshing to see that we just got good people that naturally are nice to each other. And so, I don't know. I think that's kind of extends down to where our kids are at too. So,
I agree, Jerry. Well said.
Thanks, Jerry. All right, we will move to unfinished business. Concession stand restroom update.
Alrighty, we are well on our way with this project. Before Christmas, Garrett and I had gone over to meet with the architects and looked at the final drawings, which are indicative of everything you've seen already. Board members, you do have before you, though, some renderings of what the outside of the building looks like. But no changes have taken place to the interior outside of the finishes, which I'll talk about in a moment. So we have, on January 4, we had the pre-bid construction meeting here, and as we're thrilled, we had 8 or 9 contractors show up for this. Not a very pretty day, but we went out and stood at the site, and the windows are blowing. And we even had one as far away from Great Bend. So maybe people are hungry, I don't know. That sets up a nice bidding situation for us as far as I'm concerned. The next items that will take place within this whole project are Wednesday, the 17th at 2 here in this room will be the bid opening meeting. You're welcome to attend. Board members, only 3 of you. You cannot have a 4th, otherwise it makes it a meeting. But then the following day, Thursday the 18th at 2, I need you all here. That's a special board meeting to accept the bids that we will receive from the project the day previous. So 17th, we receive them. We'll spend that afternoon into the evening scouring over the bids and then have a prepared recommendation for you on the 18th at 2 o'clock. So please put that in your calendar to attend. The things I did want to mention to you, the finishes are that they've come up with, their interior designer, reflect the colors and the finishes at the high school, so that's nice that it pulls that in together, makes it a campus. The brickwork looks very similar to at 2 o'clock. It'll be at 2 o'clock. Looks very indicative of the high school brickwork as well. Also, we did away with the tile in the restrooms and in the concession stand. It just cut some costs and actually for usefulness. We're going back with a fiberglass reinforced plastic panel, which actually is, it's easy to keep clean and it cuts the cost a little bit. So I appreciate where we are with the project at this point, and I'm looking forward to the information that we receive on the 17th. Any questions I can answer for you?
Just would like Robin to send us a reminder on that.
Robin has it written down. She will do that 4 days in advance or every day. Yeah, every 30 minutes.
Robin, I got mine in my phone, but if you would still remind me, I would appreciate it. I'm not always the best at technology.
No, stop.
Okay.
Say an ASO, Joe.
All right, we will move to KASB policy recommendations, first reading.
All righty, twice a year, KASB scours the current board policies and basically makes recommendations to adjust the policies they've recommended to you in the past to make sure that they're in line with all new state regulations and laws and federal stuff. And so this year, there's not a bunch of them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 revised and 2 new. So I'll just walk real quickly through what these have to do with, and this is just the first read. I just would be asking for you to accept it as first read when we'll either adopt these or not adopt these next month. So the first one has to do with evaluations and emergencies. Basically, this particular policy provides more autonomy to the staff, i.e. really the principal, when releasing a student, just to make sure, is that student supposed to go with that person type thing. And so our principals then, they have the more authority even to say, hold on, let's take our time before we release the student. Second one, food service management, just gives more specificity to what happens when student meals are not paid. And basically, we're coming down to charging, allowing students to have charge up to $20. And then what we move to is the free meals, the free reimbursable meals, which is like peanut butter sandwich, milk, and some vegetables. But we don't want to go down that path, but it does provide us the opportunity to do so. Next item is uniform service leave. They basically have provided more coverage to more branches of the service. So if any of our people are serving in reserve or National Guards or something like that, it just sets it all up with the more of the branches of the service. Release a student during the school day is just a different area in the handbook, but it just says the same thing as the one I read earlier, so it's nothing new. Student self-administration of medication. This provides more specificity around if a student shows up and is self-administering over-the-counter meds, that kind of thing, or distributing over-the-counter meds. It gives us the power to come into that and deal with it if need be. Next item deals with pregnant and parenting employees. Basically, it provides all employees who might be nursing to have the opportunity to express milk while they're at work. It has to be a private spot. It can't be a bathroom. And so this provides this not privilege, but this right to all employees of school districts. And the final one is just a reiteration of the student misuse of medication. It just goes on earlier with policy regarding over-the-counter drugs. So I recommend board approve the first reading of these proposed policy adjustments as presented.
Second.
Sean and Jill, it's been moved and seconded to approve the first reading of the KASB proposed policy adjustments as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, let's move to new business and resolution for election of president and vice president and setting of meetings.
All righty, a couple of years back, maybe 8 years back, it used to be if a board member got elected, he or she would be seated come July 1 and would move forward. Well, in the normal year or pace of a school year with school districts, it's during the July meeting called the reorganization meeting where the board president and vice president and the meetings for the year would be set. Well, like I began with this several years back, the law changed, and now if someone gets elected, that individual is seated in January 1. So Ryan, when you got elected, you became an official board member January 1 versus waiting until July. So what this has done is it's created a situation, and this is also part of the law. Every board has an option to address the board elections now or set them at a later date, July, and also do the same thing with the meetings themselves. There are two different resolutions that need to be addressed. One specifically deals with the election of the board officers. The second one deals with the setting of the dates. I recommend, and what we've done in the time I've been here, is just push this off to July to get it back into the normal realm or the normal procedure of how we do things. So, Mr. Jones, I recommend the board pass the resolution to hold the election of officers during the July meeting, and also pass a resolution to set the meetings for the upcoming school year during the July meeting as well. This should be two different motions, by the way.
Okay.
Matt, I'll move to push that election of president and vice president off to the July meeting, as
Okay.
explained.
Okay, Jill
Second.
and Ryan Schreibogel. Moved and seconded to hold the president and vice president election at the July meeting as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Give you
Okay.
more time to get your campaign materials together, Jill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
For
do we have-
Matt.
Do we have a resolution to move the times of the meetings and stuff to July as well?
So moved.
Jill and Sean. It's been moved and seconded to move the setting of the meetings to July as well, as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, joint welding program.
All right, I'm excited about this. For a couple months now, we've been working with Garden City Community College. We already have a very good, strong, deep relationship with Garden City with all sorts of programs that we do together. But Ryan had approached me with the concept that he had received a grant to where they could expand their welding opportunities. And the question was, would we be interested in taking part in this? Of course, I said, sure. Why not? That'd be great. If we can provide more opportunities for our students and possibly entice other people to come to us, and then possibly create a nighttime welding program more geared toward adults, sure. I mean, the spirit is willing. We just have to check out the spaces and see where we can make this fit. So we've had a couple tours of the shop area, and the current welding area, there's no real space in there to add in any new bays. So we shifted our attention to the old shop area, which is currently being used as a cheerleaders practice area. It's the old shop area. You can see where the 2 bay doors have been drywalled over. If you look at if you go through the drop ceiling, you can see where the vent spot was. And so everybody was excited about this space, that we can probably make this happen. So the assessed needs that need to be addressed deal with electrical, the bay door itself, exhaust system and renovation, the bays themselves, and then some soundproofing. We're looking at adding in 8 bays, and I don't want to speak 100% for Garden City, but they have a goodly amount of money to throw toward this. And so what it appears to be, we'll move down the path of them, doing the infrastructure stuff and setting us up for success. Then we'll take on the electrical, ongoing expenses to keep the program going down the road. It'd be shared teachers. They've got some of the welding teachers came over with the group from Garden City Community College, so we're not looking at hiring additional people for 363. So really, as far as I'm concerned, this is just a positive for us and for our clientele. As more things are knocked off the list, I'll ultimately be coming to you with an actual recommendation to make this a reality. Once again, I don't want to speak for Ryan. He's at his own board meeting tonight, but tentatively, we're talking about launching in August. So obviously some work needs to be taking place from here till then, but it can occur. What questions may I answer for you?
So were they sheet rocked, the overhead doors, would we?
We take one of them out. They said they only need one. And so I don't think that'd be a big deal. Even I could take a X-Acto knife and get it cut out of there. And so it may be something a little bit bigger than an X-Acto knife, but we can get it out and it'll look good. Dialoguing with Ryan about it, he said they've got grant money that takes care of purchases and renovation. So that'd fall into that. Something we would have to look at is there's a mezzanine up there, so we'd have to make sure that by fire marshal code, we do whatever we have to do up there. It may mean the installation of fire-rated drywall. Not sure yet. But that's another, we're on top of it. We just have to make sure that we got the amount of right kind of electricity there, because I'm sure it's greater than 110. I'm sure it's 220 or more. And so all facets of this are being considered, and that's why we have people like Garrett, and then Ryan has his people over there as well who know this stuff. So there you have it.
Dr. Myers, would these classes be for dual credit or?
Yes, they could very well be the way we set it up. It could be dual credit, and it could be just singular credit. It could be just credit through the college itself. Depending on our needs here in 363, it could just be, freshman introductory welding, perhaps, or something like that. And then, or we could even do the nighttime ones. Doesn't have to particularly be toward a degree. It could just be all about getting the AWS certification. So, yeah, the sky's the limit on how we set that up. And as far as I'm concerned, set up 3 different paths. I don't particularly care about dual credit. All right, fine. I just want that good enough. So, because the teaching will be the same. They're going to come out doing knowing how to do the various types of welding that takes place. And there's a definite need in the area for more welders.
All right, thank you. Let's move to early graduation request.
Yeah, we had one more student came forward seeking the approval to graduate early in fall of 2024, or at the end of fall 2024. You have in your executive session the actual letters that are required for someone to pursue this. Everything is kosher as far as meeting the requirements. I recommend the board approve the student's request to graduate early.
So moved.
Ryan Trivogel and Sean moved and seconded to approve the student request for early graduation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 2024-25 school calendar.
All righty, we always work a year ahead on our calendars because it makes it easier just to get things approved and start working in earnest on the next calendar. So the CRAC Calendar Committee came together. It's made up of representation of the community and from the various various buildings. And you got your very own Matt Jones sitting there as well. I'm an ad hoc member of this. The idea is they put together calendars. The calendar committee considers them all, and then ultimately, after it's all been built, a year later, we take them to vote. Well, last year we created at least 5 different calendars, and so in the end, we came together this year and said, "Yep, those are still the ones we want to pursue." So we took to the people to the vote, and anybody who works within 363 has the opportunity to vote on this. There's calendar A and calendar E. Calendar A, the students, and these are very similar in nature, a few substantive differences, not many. Students' first day with calendar A would be Tuesday, the August 20th. Calendar E would be Wednesday, the 21st. In calendar A, November 11 is Professional Learning Day. In calendar E, it's not. That Professional Learning Day is placed in August. In calendar A, the last adjustment is end of each semester is a full day with students, whereas in calendar E, the last day for each semester is a half day for students and then a half day work day for the staff. So it went to the committee. It went out to the community for a vote, and it came back with calendar E garnering 58 votes, which is 64% of the vote because we had 90 people total. And then calendar A had 32 votes. Of course, there's some change, which is 35%. So you do the math, that's only 99%, but it's point whatever, which makes it the 100% vote. So then that calendar committee then makes a recommendation to me, and then I take that good information and I make a recommendation to you. So we are here now, and I recommend the board approve of calendar E for the 2024-2025 school year as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Jill and Ryan Schreibogel. Been moved and seconded to approve calendar E for the 2024-25 school year as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
And just so you're aware, next time we come together is January 22nd. And at that meeting, we continue our work, but for the following school year, so for 25-26. I've seen 4 different versions of that at this point, but now that a calendar has been adopted by the board, the first place you always start is you take the approved calendar and make a corresponding calendar from that. Just start from what you know, and then go from there. Now, I will tell you, there's a movement locally with individual districts having longer time period off at Thanksgiving, Christmas, spring break. I'm sure we will put something together along those lines just to see. Because the whole, as I alluded to earlier, in order for the school year to count, the district has to have in attendance with the student body 1,116 hours. How you put that together is up to you locally, how you go about doing that. It's always wise to have a little extra time because of snow events occur. And so I think it was Dodge or Garden even, students weren't coming back till this week. And so that's a choice they had made. I think it was Deerfield. Were out on that Monday when we came to school through Wednesday. They were out through that Monday, and then they weren't set to have school again until I think it was last Thursday maybe, or maybe it's Monday today. So a longer Christmas break. Doesn't make it wrong, right, or indifferent. Just a different way of slicing up the pie. So I'm sure that we will get at least one calendar that looks similar to that. It'll be interesting to see how that plays.
Probably get a balanced schedule.
A balanced vacation schedule, perhaps.
Yes, perhaps. All right, let's move to the special board meeting.
All righty, since I referenced earlier the concession stand restroom having a special board meeting, well, now we have to make that a reality. In order to have that special board meeting, there's 2 ways of doing it. We can just wait around and do it at the end, and then we have to sign a 3-day waiver, or we can just do it this way since we know it's coming. The only thing you need to know is when we do a special board meeting, once we say its purpose, then we cannot add anything to it. It has to be that purpose. That's why we're meeting. So I recommend the board set up a special board meeting to take place Thursday, January 18th at 2 in the USD 363 boardroom to consider bids for the concession stand restroom building project.
So moved.
Jill and Sean, it's been moved and seconded to set up a special board meeting for Thursday, January 18th at 2 o'clock in the boardroom to consider bids for the concession stand restroom building project. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. 10 minutes. Okay, executive and just you. Okay, let's see. How about we go into executive session at 6:40 for 10 minutes, include Dr. Myers.
So moved, Matt.
Jill. And Sean. Moved and seconded to go into executive session at 6:40 for 10 minutes with Dr. Myers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're back in session. I need a motion to hire Dolores Huffman as our central office administrative assistant. Sean? And Ryan Schreibogel. Been moved and seconded to hire Dolores. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
That's all right, let her. Yes, let her say aye. It's a- Go ahead. Nothing else, Mr. Jones?
All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Jill and Sean. Moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?